Hi, Gil Martin here, and welcome to episode number 5 of the Daily Packers Post as we bring you in depth coverage of the Green Bay Packers throughout the season and throughout the year. And obviously, a disappointing week 1 performance for the Packers in Sao Paulo, Brazil, falling to the Philadelphia Eagles in a game that the Packers really could have and should have won. This was a game that was sloppy, filled with penalties, filled with disappointment. The defense didn't quite play the way you wanted them to. The red zone offense didn't function the way you wanted it to. Jordan Love was inconsistent during the game, and then with a couple of plays left, ends up suffering a relatively serious injury that's expected to keep him out for somewhere between 3 to 6 weeks. The Packers hoping that it could be closer to the 3 week period than to the 6. Now, Malik Willis, the Packers have announced, is going to be the starting quarterback. What does this mean? How are things going to be different with Malik Willis under center rather than Jordan Love? And I think the first thing we're going to see is that Matt LaFleur is going to have to change his game plan. Number one, to simplify things, because Malik Willis has only had a few weeks as a Green Bay Packer since they acquired him in a trade with the Tennessee Titans. He is not overly familiar with the offense. He is not overly familiar with this team and his receivers and his teammates. So I think, there is going to have to be a sort of a simplified version of this offense. I think that because Malik Willis's accuracy is not as consistent as Jordan Love's, we may see more high percentage passes called by Matt LaFleur to try to build up Willis's confidence and to keep the chains moving, to keep it simple for Willis and then let the talented receivers, whether it's a Christian Watson, a Romeo Doubs, a Jaden Reed, who had a great game against the Eagles, let them do the work of moving the ball downfield. And then I also think the play calling changes because we're going to see more PTOs and more design quarterback runs because Willis is a mobile quarterback, and his ability to run with the football is one of his strengths, and I think that is going to be important. I think we're also going to see a little more pressure on the Packers' offensive line. Not only does the offensive line have to give Willis a little more time because, again, he's not as familiar with this offense, with the progressions, with his reads, so he may need a little more time to complete passes than Love did. Also, I think the offensive line, which for the most part over the past few years has been better at pass protection than at run blocking, well, there's going to be more pressure on guys like Josh Myers and Zach Tom and Elton Jenkins and Jordan Morgan and Sean Ryan to open up some holes for the running game, which is going to be more important. And I think also, the Packers signed Josh Jacobs as a free agent, designing to replace Aaron Jones, who is now a Minnesota Viking. You've also got Emmanuel Lewis, who looked great in the preseason and played pretty well against the Eagles when called upon. Maybe Marshawn Lloyd comes back healthy, but I think we're going to see more emphasis on the running game in general, not just Willis running the ball, but I think they're going to count more on Jacobs, that he is going to have to get more things accomplished for this offense. And now, look, the good news is this. Josh Jacobs, unlike Aaron Jones, you don't have to worry about giving Josh Jacobs the ball 20, 25 times. He's also an accomplished receiver like Aaron Jones was out of the backfield. So you want to throw, I think you'll see more passes to the running backs, maybe shorter passes to the wide receivers, short passes to the tight end. Look for Tucker Kraft, in my opinion, to be more involved in the offense, maybe than Luke Musgrave, who kind of is better at going deep and splitting the seam. I think the run after catch of Tucker Kraft will be more in play for the Packers. Not that you won't see longer passes at all, but I think we'll see them less frequently. And don't be surprised to see Josh Jacobs and Emmanuel Wilson making more catches out of the backfield and just getting more, being a bigger part of the passing game. And when they're not, pass protection going to be an important part. Don't be surprised to see opposing defenses call more blitzes and call more things designed to confuse Willis, again, as he is not so familiar with the offense. So I think what is going to be important is, protecting Willis and then making things as simple as possible. The other thing is this, and this has me a little concerned after week 1, but again, we have to see how this plays out. There's going to be more pressure, without a doubt, on the Packers defense. And Jeff Hafley's group, did they do a great job? No, not really in game 1. We still saw too many missed tackles. We still saw problems stopping the run for most of the game. Overall, we just saw too many things that were concerning. And we're going to need the defense to be better, because I think it's fair to say that the expectations for the offense are not the same, that we're not going to see, the Packers against the Eagles scored 29 points and the offense didn't play their best football, not even close. I don't think you can count on as many high-scoring outputs the next few weeks with Malik Willis under center. Look, I'd love to be wrong, but I don't think you're going to see as many points scored. So the pressure on the defense is going to be more than it was last week against the Eagles, and had Jordan Love remained healthy and been on the field. And that means we need to see better games, better run defense. We need Jair Alexander to be better. Now, again, going up against A.J. Brown, that's a tough assignment for any corner. But let's face it, other than the interception, Jair did not shine last week against the Eagles. He's going to need to play better, and the defense as a whole going to have to create a few turnovers. They did that last week, and the offense couldn't capitalize. They've got to keep it up, because giving Willis a shorter field is going to be important. And look, bottom line is you're now having Malik Willis and Sean Clifford as your two quarterbacks. Does not look like the Packers are going to bring in a veteran. This is what they're going with. Let's say that Malik Willis has to start 3 games. He's got to win at least one. If, one of them, if you're 1-3 after 4 and then you get back Jordan Love, I think this team will be okay. You just can't lose all of the games. And the good news, or one piece of good news, certainly, is that the Green Bay Packers schedule this part of the season is a little bit easier. Not that you have automatic wins here, but the next 3 games, first of all, 2 of them are against AFC opponents. That means that losing them doesn't hurt you in the tiebreakers come playoff time. You're hosting Indianapolis, you're visiting Tennessee, and then you're hosting Minnesota. On paper, those are 3 winnable games. If Willis can lead them to even just 1 victory, that's good enough. 2 would be outstanding. And, if you are 2-2 and getting back Jordan Love for the trip to LA in week 5, that would be really good timing. But the most important thing for the Packers, the one thing you don't want to see, is you don't want to see the Packers rush back Jordan Love before he's ready and then he gets injured more seriously. The health of Jordan Love is paramount, and we want to keep him healthy long term. So I'd rather let him sit out one more week if need be than rush him back and have a more serious, possibly even season ending injury take place. So one step at a time, but hopefully this is closer to the 3 weeks than to the 6, and that Jordan Love is able to come back and be effective as the Packers starting quarterback for the rest of the season. The Packers bit a bullet. Let's face it, had Jordan Love been out for the year, this season would be over. I think one of the things we have to keep in the back of our heads as Packer fans is, even if you're a wild card, even if you just sneak into the playoffs, you got Jordan Love healthy and this talented team ready to roll. This Packer team is capable of beating anybody, but you got to get into the playoffs first. So let's see what Malik Willis can do. This will be his 4th career NFL start on Sunday. He won one of his first 3. He has also, by the way, never thrown a touchdown pass in the NFL. He has run for 1. He has no touchdown passes and 3 interceptions in the limited action that he's seen so far. That's going to wrap it up for today's show. We will be back. We're going to preview the game between the Packers and the Colts. We'll also talk about any breaking news. So subscribe here on YouTube to the Daily Packers Post and check out all of our articles at thepackerspost.com, where every day we have some great in-depth Packers articles and analysis. I'm Gil Martin. Thanks so much for watching the Daily Packers Post. Go Pack Go.